Hello, everybody. My name is Sophia Takla, and I run Operation Joy. This is my service initiative geared at funding organizations that bring joy to children in hospitals undergoing cancer treatment. This is the first episode in our video series where we are going to interview pediatric cancer survivors about the role of joy and hope in the healing process. And so today I'm so excited to introduce a dear friend of mine from high school, Lily Webb. We did theater together, we did thespians together, all kinds of stuff, and we also got to do a little bit of work for the Children's Cancer Association walk together as well. So, welcome, Lily.
Hello, hi.
Can
Hello.
you just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself now, where you go to school, what you've been up to, what you're studying?
I'm Lily Webb. I go to school at Loyola Marymount University and I'm a major in psychology and a minor in sociology. So
Amazing.
yeah.
So, can you just start telling us a little bit about your journey with cancer when you were younger?
I was diagnosed when I was 9. I was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, which is a short bone generated cancer, and it was on my spine. And it metastasized to my lungs. So I had to have lung surgery as well as back surgery, and I received treatment that was targeted to both my lungs and my back. So it was a 10-month journey of treatment. And with a few surgeries in there, and I've had a few surgeries since then. Um, and yeah, I mean, it was a pretty rough journey. I mean, like anyone's treatment is, but yeah, I mean, I'm doing pretty well now. I still have a lot of back problems, as I kind of always will, but they were able to treat the cancer, and I've been cancer free for like 7 years now. So yeah, yeah.
Yay! When you were undergoing all of this, were there any nonprofit organizations in the hospital or anybody that helped you in any way to make your experience better? Or if not, do you think that you could have benefited from something like that?
Yeah, so I forgot to mention this. I went to Dornbecker Children's Hospital. So that's where I received my treatment. And luckily, they are a hospital that receives a lot of different programming. I know CCA was up at Dornbecker at the time that I was there. Um, but when I was in treatment, I was pretty closed off. Like, I really was like, I don't want to see anyone. I really only wanted to see my family. So I kind of ignored a lot of the programming. But I do think, I mean, because for me, my family was like kind of all I needed. I have a lot of siblings, and they were all really supportive and able to visit me all the time. But looking back on it, I really commend CCA and like a lot of the other programs. There were like art programs that were up there, teaching programs. And I think kids really benefit from that because it gives you a sense of um, normalcy, because you get to engage in activities that, like, you should be engaging in, but you're in a hospital room, so maybe you wouldn't be able to. Um, and I think it's really important work, and it's really cool work that people feel that like drive to go provide programming for kids. And yeah, so I think it's super important. Although I didn't personally like benefit from it that much, I definitely think it's important.
Yeah, I love hearing about your family. I love your family. They're
Yeah.
so awesome.
Yeah.
But what role did hope and joy in general, or even the arts, play for you in healing? And maybe not even just in your time in the hospital, but throughout your life?
I would say a huge role. It's always, I think, kind of funny when I say this, because I think people, like, it's kind of a weird coping mechanism almost, but when I was in treatment, definitely my way of like getting through it was I pretended I was in a movie. Like, I was like, I'm an actress in this movie and I'm playing this role. And, you know, it was just using my imagination was my way of like getting through it. And I think definitely after treatment, I was always into theater, but I started doing the young people's theater project. Oh my gosh, I started doing the young people's theater project when I was 9, and that was when I was in treatment. So I definitely, like, really got into theater, like, during treatment and after, and I think it's because it allowed that, like, expression, and that expression of, like, emotion that I didn't know how to express, like, on the daily, and it really helped me feel like I belonged somewhere. I think after experiencing something like cancer, especially when you're so young, there's this sense of you don't belong anywhere because you have nothing in common with anyone. And so I think theater was a huge, huge deal for me in feeling like I belonged. Um, but yeah, I think mostly I used my imagination as my way of coping, but that was a huge uh, piece of joy for me because as a kid, I loved that. I loved pretending and playing, and that did bring me joy in a weird way. So yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. And I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons too, other than the fact that we're theater people and we love music and theater,
Hmm.
that CCA, the Children's Cancer Association, is like one of
Yeah.
the main organizations Operation Joy has worked with, is because art and music in difficult times
Hmm.
brings people together and brings joy and is humanizing and amazing. And so I love hearing that theater was
Yeah.
a big part of your healing process. And I know when my cousin
Hmm.
went through treatment, that he loved all of those things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what
Yeah.
in general, what do you want the general public to know if you could tell them about pediatric cancer or the hospital experience?
Um, yeah, this is a question I've pondered a lot just over the years because I also have worked with Children's Cancer Association through some of their different programs. I work with the Young Adult Alliance, which brings they kind of try to create programs for teens in the hospital. So this is a question I've thought about a lot. And I think for me, I'm always a really big advocate for survival, like the after part, because being in the hospital is very, very difficult, obviously. I think the biggest part is a support system. I was really lucky that I had an amazing support system, but a lot of kids don't have that. And I think, like, I don't know what I would have done without my family and without that support system. And so I definitely think like emphasizing the support system during, but also after, because I know for me, in my, it's been 9, almost 10 years since I was diagnosed, but the like mental and emotional side effects of that are really difficult. And I don't think people really give kids enough credit for that part of it and how it totally changes you going through treatment. No matter, I was 9, but if you're a teenager or even if you're a little younger, I mean, that's such a huge formative period of your life. And to go through these moments of, you're losing your hair or you're getting really thin or maybe you're getting really bloated from steroids or you know, I mean, it totally changes how you think of yourself and also your perspective on life. I mean, it really starts to make you realize, what's your priority, what's important to you. Um, and I really think the aftermath of it is something that needs to be focused on a little more as well.
Mm,
Because it doesn't go away. It's a lifelong battle, I always say. So, yeah.
absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And I mean, if you
Mhm.
could tell somebody why they should fund an organization that helps kids during their treatment, after their treatment, in the healing process, why should people go ahead and do that?
I mean, I personally think it's super important, but I think it's one of those where you can't really go wrong in funding programs like this because, I mean, everyone, I think joy brings a sense of hope and a sense of normalcy. And kids, I mean, when you're a kid, your whole life is supposed to just be joy. You shouldn't have to be experiencing super difficult, traumatizing things when you're little or when you're a teenager. I mean, you should be experiencing like normal, like rough breakups or like things like that, but it shouldn't be, you know, your life or death kind of thing. And I think just helping kids to have some joy, especially like I was saying, those kids who don't have a support system. I mean, helping them to have an outlet and um, have some sense of like, oh yeah, I love music. Let me get really good at the guitar or something, but maybe they can't afford the guitar. So then someone's able to bring that in for them and help them learn and help them, feel more uh, full of life. Um, I think you really can't go wrong because someone will always benefit and in a very deep way. It won't be a surface level kind of benefit, but it's like that will affect them emotionally and like who they are.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And you're so right. You can't go wrong. I mean, I don't think there's anything more heartbreaking than a kid having to deal with all of these things because kids, like you said, are at a point in their life where it should all be fun. It should all be hope. It should all be joy. And
Mhm.
that's why I hope that people watching and that people who
Yeah.
participate in Operation Joy really continue to support organizations like CCA, like St. Jude's, like Make a Wish, or Sparrow Clubs.
Mhm.
And so thank you so much for helping us shine a light on that today.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that
Yeah.
you can share before we head out?
I don't think so. I just want to say thank you for having me, and I think this is a really important cause, and I'm really glad you're doing this. So thank you.
So much. Well, we love you, Lily, and we love joy. And so thank you for sharing with us today about why that is important.
Of course.
So thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next time on our Operation Joy channel. Have a great day.